How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights Supporting Channel. If you don't like that, there's the fucking door. This is Broad City Season 1, Episode 6, Stolen Phone. So, not plural, singular, stolen phone. Probably Abby. Abby is usually the one with the problem in the episode, the direct problem. So I guess really that's just my only guess, that Abby's got her phone stolen, and we gotta get it back. We're gonna track down the person and try and find it that way, because the police are fucking useless. Oh man, so much to talk about this episode. Where to even begin, man? Uh, okay, let's go back to the very, very beginning. I mean, look, this whole episode is about, them getting dudes and just, the whole reverse situation of basically what we had last episode, but only, like, said at the end of, oh, if we just, like, be really creepy towards, like, 12 women, then 3 of them might sleep with us. It's that sort of same thing, not the creepiness, but the sort of, if you cast a wide net, this whole episode is just them, trying to get anybody they can and eventually getting somebody, and then it just being, the worst sort of dude ever. It's the classic reversal of, that classic sitcom, trope, which I like as just a reversal of it with women and everything that, but ultimately, it's just not that interesting of a plot, so I think this has now become probably my least favorite episode, but there's a lot of stuff in it that, I found very relatable. Um, but yeah, I think that general plot. This episode was way more like a normal sitcom, except this is again what we should be getting. Normal ass sitcom plots, but it can be women. But at the same time, Broad City can be so much funnier than that. Even if this is the norm that we should have in society, it's just sitcom tropes. Don't really care much about them in general. Um, I mean, of course this is a situational comedy, but you know what I mean. When people say sitcoms, of course you think of something like Friends, you think of something like Cheers, and, when somebody says a sitcom, nobody thinks of, like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But, the whole, having your phone stolen, having to go around and look for it. I've never experienced anything like that. Like the whole find my phone sort of thing. Never experienced that, so I don't have anything to really say in that regard. I feel like I've always been very good about my phone. My phone looks very nice. It is still intact. No cracks, nothing. But however, I had my phone for like a couple, not this phone, my previous phone, or one of my previous phones, had for a couple of years, was specifically gloating about how it had no cracks, and I had it for multiple years without any damage. And as I was saying that, I was getting into a truck where I was getting really high up, and it slid out of my pocket onto the ground. Bam, smash, completely broken. That's the only time I've had my phone crack. The only other time I've broken my phone was when I had my phone in my pocket and I had somebody push me into a pool. That was the worst. But yeah, I haven't had the sort of find my phone, going around looking for it. Other people I've had that happen with, where they've lost their phone and we've had to do that, but not my own. I feel like I'm very Lincoln with the phone, wallet, keys, phone, wallet, keys. Gotta make sure you got what you got. Every time I leave the house, I double pat down everything. But okay. So the improv thing with Tyler this episode, boy howdy. So she has a UCB sticker on her laptop and everything like that. So and the show has had many UCB sort of people, and I was really expecting, even with that, even knowing that, I was really expecting the improv scene to be, man, improv comedy is so bad. Which, to be fair, yeah, live improv comedy is just bad, because 90% of the time it's short form improv, and short form improv is terrible. I don't think that's what they were going for here, because it really seems like they were going for a Tyler was that improv guy. If you have not seen it, there's a great video by Keegan Michael Key on that specifically, on that guy in improv, and what improv and how improv is like a team game and everything like that. You come out there and say, hey mom, I have a problem with my penis, and then the person starts talking to his mom, and then he comes out there like, no, I am mom. I think the example Keegan used was, you're at a birthday party, you're at a scene where 2 people are talking like it's a birthday party, and then a third person comes out and just goes, God makes dinosaur noises. And then, you know, that is being that guy. But then a good improv group would then try and find a way to be like, you know, oh, Dave, I told you to take off that dinosaur costume and blah, blah, blah. And then a good, you know, improver would stop being that guy at that point, realize that they were sort of like, you know, subtly calling him out on that and trying to get him to flow more with the scene. Whereas, yeah, this was such a great example of him just taking over the scenes every single time and not letting anybody else have any spotlight. Very, you know, I've never really seen that sort of take on every time there's improv in any kind of media, TV show, movie, whatever. It is always improv is so cringy. And again, I am on the stance of short form improv is cringy. Short form improv is really only useful as a training thing, as to just learn improv. And you know, improv is a great thing that you can use in life, but performing short form improv, it ain't fun. It's just, and okay, I guess I should clarify what I mean. So, short form improv would be, you know, oh, do we have a one-word suggestion? Egg roll. Okay, we're gonna do a scene and try to incorporate egg roll into it somehow, and it's gonna be like a quick, like, you know, 3-minute scene, if that even. And then we're gonna launch into another scene with another suggestion, sort of, or we're gonna play like a game, like, okay, like a word association game is, you know, improv. And that sort of thing is just not entertaining as entertainment, in my opinion. Obviously, some people can like it and whatever, but I just think it gives such a bad example to improv. Whereas long-form improv, where, you know, scenes last a lot longer and it is using something, for example, like Improv for Humans, where they will take a, you know, word suggestion, give us like a word suggestion, but then they will take their word suggestion and try and find a story that one of them has, go into a like real life story, and then use that story to create a scene. Because then you are creating a lot realer of a scene and a much more interesting scene, rather than really trying to ham-fist this like word into a scene in some way. And, you know, or just like setting, like playing yourself in a scene, but a heightened situation where all the other people are playing fictional people, but you are playing yourself as, you know, even a heightened version of yourself. I think like long form improv is also great because most podcasts that I feel do a sort of long form improv are not an improv podcast. They will just launch right into it, where, you know, like a lot of times a podcast where there's two hosts will just launch into a bit between the two of them, and that's long form improv, when you're just launching into it like that, and you're not like, you know, when it's not so structured. It's not short form. But yeah, that's my stance on it. I am very anti-short form improv, but it has its own merits as a thing. But you know, as a going out to perform for other people, just do long form improv. Just do long form improv. Lincoln again is becoming so much of the the most relatable character in this entirely. You know, he is super progressive. He's very fine with Abby, you know, or sorry, Alana, you know, going out and boning all these other dudes and everything like that. He wants a relationship with her, but he is, you know, at the same time, it's not like he is jealous. I guess it's not that he's jealous. It's not that he's jealous of the other guys at all. It's just that he is like I wish that I could have a relationship with her, but if I can't, at the same time, it's not like he is, you know, being the nice guy or the guy that is like, you know, that's being super like creepy or stalkery or anything like that. Like, his character is so, it rides this line, and it's amazingly done. His relationship with dogs, I love. I mean, I like owning dogs. You know, I am, you know, not living at a place where I can now because I'm not like with my own family and stuff like that. It's a different situation, but you know, so it's not that sort of like, oh, I don't want to have the responsibility of owning a dog, but I do just love how much Lincoln loves dogs, and I do realize that he is responsible enough to realize that he isn't responsible enough to own a dog. That you know, he's got some weird stuff going on too. And the whole, like, yeah, where it's like, I'm Abby's friend too. I was very worried about her, and I'm glad that, you know, Alana apologized as well. That was good. It's nice. Now, the Upper East Side of New York, I absolutely, like, so insanely relatable to me, because I have been poor my entire life. My family has been very poor our entire lives. And then my grandmother on my dad's side is, you know, pretty rich. You know what? I'm willing to say rich. She goes on vacations every year and cruises and blah, blah, blah. She is very, very rich. But not like, absurdly wealthy or anything. Just definitely upper class, very upper class. Like the people we saw in the Upper East class, I would say. But not, snooty or anything, thankfully. But anyway, because of that, she rented out her old shitty house that they, like, grew up their whole life in, when then she went to go get, like, a much bigger, better, fancy house. So we living in this, like, really old house that is so different from all the other houses around us too, because all the other houses around us have been built up to be so much better, and we're still living in this really shitty, crappy house in the middle of Bel Air, Maryland, which is it's Bel Air. It's not the Bel Air from Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's Bel Air. It is the rich part of town. It was the richest part of Maryland. And from someone who grew up outside of Baltimore, which is, very, I would say it is the equivalent of, like, Harlem to New York City. Whereas I grew up, just outside of there. And so then, moving to Bel Air, moving in with my auntie and uncle in Bel Air, essentially, was so weird being around, like, especially going to school with all these richity, uppity people, and I was, like, one of the only people in the school who was poor, because because of my grandmother's old house, she was able to let us rent it for a lot cheaper than anybody else, would, if she had rented it out to anybody else. And I only lived there for a very small period, because she did continue to raise our rent until we just had to leave. Because, piece of shit. But that was one of the worst times of my life, I would say, was just feeling so, like, ostracized. And it was also so weird going from a community that was, like, 60% black and, like, 40% white into a community that was, like, 99% white, and I had, like, one black dude in the whole school, and we had, like, 2 Asian dudes, and it was like, whew. And same thing with, like, when where I went to high school for, all of my, like, high school career, same thing. My whole high school was 99% white dudes. It was so weird. We had literally 3 black dudes in the entire school, and we again had 2 Asian dudes, both named Bruce. Oh, God. Fucking Delaware is so fucking white. But, I definitely, it feels so much creepier being around an environment like that. It's so much judgier. And even in Delaware, where it is, like, super duper white and everything like that, I used to always love going to hang out with my friend who was even poorer than me, because he lived in, like, an apartment complex that was in the poorest part of Selbyville, and it was a lot more diverse, and it was just, it was just, I felt, I don't want to say, like, I felt safer or anything like that. Sure, that is hyperbole, but I felt more, comfortable. I didn't feel, like I was constantly being judged. Well, I guess I did, but for a different, I felt like I was being judged for being white, sure, but fair, it's a much different thing. But yes, I totally get that. Their fear of going to the Upper East Side. Again, I loved Alana just getting topless in the middle of Central Park. I absolutely love it. Goals, man. Hashtag goals. Yeah, actually, I guess that's about all I have to say about this episode. Really, like, not a lot of things going on in this episode. Very, very little to talk about. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.